everybody, Donald with EEV Mate and VRF Tech Talk podcast, coming at you again with a quick tech tip. Today we're going to talk about what is an EEV and what is not an EEV. So to start it off, we'll get that out of the way. This bagel is not an EEV. Neither is this solenoid. What I'm getting at here is the tools that we use to actuate an EEV are going to be completely different than the tool we would use to actuate a solenoid valve. A solenoid valve uses an electromagnet to apply a magnetic force in a linear fashion. As a voltage is applied to this coil, the magnet inside of this solenoid is going to raise up. Contrast, this is also an electromagnet, but it works completely different. The electromagnet inside of this has 4 coils that allow us to step the voltage or the magnetic field around the coil, thus allowing us to raise and lower that expansion valve. The EEV magmate has been designed so that when you apply a rotational force, it grabs onto the internal structure, the internal permanent magnets of the EEV, and allows us to rotate and move that pin up and down. A solenoid magnet, because its function is linear motion, when you rotate that around an EEV, you should not expect to see change. It's a completely different magnetic structure. To illustrate how these work, we'll draw it out on the whiteboard here. So, our EEV has 3 main functions, or 3 main features. We have our inlet and outlet tubes, we have a shell, and inside what we can't see, we have a permanent magnet structure. So to illustrate that, we'll draw this kind of cage-like structure. All right, attached to this permanent magnet structure is the pin that allows us to expand refrigerant. So in a closed state, we're blocking off that bottom tube. As we apply a rotational field or a rotational magnetic field around that permanent magnet, this pin is going to move up and down depending on the way we turn this magnet. So if we were to say open that magnet or open this valve, this pin would go like this. Right, now we have area for refrigerant to flow past that valve. So as we apply a liquid on this side, we get to that pin that is now open a certain percentage. We have a pressure drop because of the small area that it can leak by. And now we have our expanded liquid. Allow us to cool our indoor coil or get that saturated liquid to our indoor coil or start the saturation process. A solenoid also has a magnetic structure inside of it, but like I mentioned earlier, it's a linear fashion. So we will also draw this. Okay, as we apply a vertical field, a horizontal or vertical, just a linear magnetic field, dropping our solenoid on top, our magnetic field says go up, our pin inside of there is going to open, now we have the ability to flow refrigerant. The big difference here is an expansion valve is an expansion valve because it allows for a pressure drop. A solenoid does not. A solenoid is simply a gate to stop refrigerant flow or allow refrigerant flow. Why I'm harking on this is they're 2 separate tools. To illustrate what I'm talking about, I have this cool magnetic field paper. So when you apply a solenoid magnet to the back of this magnetic field paper, you'll see a big black hole form. All right? As I rotate this solenoid magnet, you'll see no change in how that hole is formed, right? It's just a big, dark magnetic hole. As I apply an EEV magmate or any EEV magnet at that point, you'll see a cool shape. Those are the magnetic fields inside of our tool that bite onto that EEV head and allow us to open and close it and get rid of some of that glare. All right, so now you notice as I rotate this, our magnetic fields rotate with it. All right, so to illustrate that again, as we apply a rotational force to this EEV, we would expect this pin to open and close. All right, that's just a quick tech tip from EEV Mate and VRF Tech Talk podcast. We hope you guys are good out there fixing things, and we really appreciate you guys. Keep it busy, keep it strong, keep it going. Thank you.